And welcome in the NBA tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. We got the Bucks Cavs tonight. We've got Houston taking on the Knicks. We've got the Celtics Spurs, Charlotte taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. And who can forget the Dallas Mavericks taking on the Lakers? We got a ton of games going on here tonight. We are also going to have a couple of best bets as we break down a few of them here. And we're going to do it with three of the best at WagerTalk.com as we welcome back in Skee Profit in the house, as is Mr. R.C. Ronald Kabang, ready to roll, and so is the greats Mr. Rob Vino, ready to roll, guys. Love this card, better than the crap we had last night, so let us go here and kick it off with who else? The Contrarian Gods have something to say about a game here tonight that will include, well, the New Orleans Pelicans at home taking on them Charlotte Hornets, and it seems just the entire world wants to have a ticket on New Orleans, but the Contrarian Gods are saying, whoa. Maybe not so fast. 12, a ton of points here. Skee, are you in agreement with the Contrarian Gods on this one?
Yeah, I would have to be. It makes sense why nobody wants to be part of the Hornets. They've been playing really uninspiring basketball lately, especially on the defensive end. But the coach called them out, or the coach said that that's going to be their focus as far as like what they had to practice on. Terry Rozier said they're going to have a players only meeting, and just expecting guys to give effort after that. So they've had a couple of days off to talk about and work on fixing the things that were going wrong. And they're facing the Pelicans team who probably doesn't care a whole lot about this game. It's out of conference, and if you look at their schedule coming up, they have a gauntlet that they're about to go through. A lot of tough teams in the West, even a couple of tough teams in the East. I think, this is one they kind of sleepwalk through, whereas the Hornets give a little bit more effort. So Hornets keep it within the number. I'd go with the contrarian play of the day.
Ooh, back in the gods here today. And listen, nobody has been spot on with the gods. Follow or fade, then RC Ronald Kabang here. Might you be in agreement with the Contrarian Gods here tonight on looking to take as many points as New Orleans wants to give you?
Yeah, this one's tough. I know, Skee brings up a lot of good points there, but I know the Pelicans, they've only been double-digit favorites once this season, and they were actually on the first leg of back-to-back that game, and they ended up covering as 13-point favorites. They won by 15 or 16 or so. But if you look at this Hornets team, I think it's really, for me, it's hard to back them until they get fully healthy and they show some type of like consistency or some type of momentum shift. Because I know they slowly gotten healthier and LaMelo's back, PJ's back in the lineup as well, but they're still missing Hayward. They're still missing Mark Williams. Brandon Miller is also questionable as well today. They struggle to score over 100 points in 5 of their last 7 games, and their defense is also struggling as well. If you look at the rest advantage, I know they got 2 days of rest advantage. I just feel like it's a tough task for them to try and fix both their offense and defense. So one of them, even if they do fix one, they're probably going to struggle in the other. I think another thing to mention too as well, the Pelicans. I know they're in a tough travel spot, right? First game home off a road trip, but the Hornets, they've had 10 of their previous 13 games have been on the road, so travel fatigue could set in for these guys as well. They've lost 16 of their last 17 games. They have the worst point differential in the league, and I think out of their 29 losses so far this season, 20 of them have been by double digits. I think another thing to mention too, I watched this Pelicans team when they have a large lead towards the end of the game. Their second unit has a bunch of guys who are offensive minded. So I feel like maybe to me, I feel like the second unit, they don't let off the gas pedal. And in 24 of their wins, 16 of those were by double digits. So I think they're able to win by margin. To me, I feel like the Pelicans offense is too good right now. They're clicking in all cylinders. I think they should be able to cover this game.
All right. Well, I ain't arguing with RC. You've been spot on with the Contrarian Gods here tonight. And Vino, I don't know. It seems that everyone's in agreement here with them that maybe we're giving too much credit to the Pelicans in this spot. That's a lot of points here. What are you thinking? Are they spot on with this?
It is a lot of points, Joe. To the points that both guys made ahead of me, they're so contradictory, right? I mean, Steve Clifford did say he wants to practice defense. If I expand on that a little bit, here's Steve Clifford as he continues talking. What we haven't done, we haven't defended anywhere near the level that we were. And that's what we have to get back to. That's the trick in this league. It's usually the way it goes. It'll be 1 week of this, another week of that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they could practice defense. Does it mean they're going to be any better? I don't know. In one game, I'm not sure, especially against this team. And to Ronald's point, their offense stinks as well. So if fixing one half of the problem, you need to fix the entire thing. Now, the part that should lead me right to the Hornets plus 12 is, again, first game back after a long road trip, right? And Willie Green even hinted on that. I mean, we talk about it all the time here on the show, but they know it too. When you're gone for 10 days and for 5 games, the first game back is normally a trap game. We had a really good practice today, and we want to carry that over to our first game. You could carry it over, Joe, but do you have to win by more than 12? I'm not so sure. Bench depth certainly goes to New Orleans. I think Ronald pointed that out. Charlotte losing road games by 12.7 per contest, which is right where the number is basically, makes it tough. I think if I had to, I would look toward the Charlotte side just because first game back off a long road trip. And even though New Orleans wants to start off well here at home, it doesn't necessarily mean a 13-point win. So reluctantly agree with the gods here. Charlotte plus 12.
All right. I mean, listen, sometimes agreement is exactly what you need when you're right. And that's what the contrarian gods have been. So if we we'll have more possibly on this game coming up a little bit later. We do have, of course, a featured matchup here tonight, one involving the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks here. Seeing right now, it's an interesting spot. 4, I think, is what we have seen on this one here, Skee. Yeah, it's about hovering around that 244. I mean, I'll say this. Kyrie's been playing some basketball, man. He's been pretty good since come back. Had to carry the load a little bit here while Doncic is out. There was some hope that he might be back for this game. The line hasn't moved yet, so I guess maybe we don't know that to be the case. But what are you thinking here? 244 certainly feels right from a total perspective as well. What are you thinking?
Well, the Lakers are saying they're going to stick with their lineup that they had success with last year, and I think that's a good idea. They did get a win with it in their last game, and it's also good to have some kind of consistency just out there on the floor. So I do think they'll start to trend in the right direction. But am I willing to go put my money on it? I can't do it. They've only covered what 2 of their last 8 games as a home favorite. They're 6-9, and Dallas. It doesn't even really matter if Luka's playing or not. They've been playing good basketball. Kyrie has already mentioned how they wanted to start games, a little bit better as far as first quarter. And I think he also mentioned too how he wants to, play well while Luka's out. So I don't really care whether Luka's in or out. I think the Mavericks are the correct side in this game. And as far as the total, I think Laker games will start to, be a lot more towards the over. So lean Mavericks, and I guess that's how I see the game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it feels like points are certainly coming with Dallas. It's funny too, RC. I think they play actually some defense when there's no Doncic. That may change here tonight, though, as if he does have a chance to go in this game, I think the market will certainly adjust. But what are you thinking about the Lakers and Mavericks going at it?
Yeah, I know the Lakers are coming off a nice win and cover against the Thunder, but they really been struggling overall since the play-in tournament. I know after the tournament they had a cluster of road games, so I get it. I get why they struggle. They have to go on the road for a few games at a time. But even in their last homestand, I think Skee touched on it. 2-3 straight up, 1-4 against the spread. On the opposite side, you had the Mavs. They picked up some momentum. They're getting somewhat healthier, but obviously Luka and Grant Williams are questionable today. They've covered 5 of their last 7 games, and they already beat the Lakers twice this season, but by slim margins. I think they won by like 2 or 3 points in both of those games. But I think from a side perspective, I would lean towards the Mavs just because overall I think that they're trending up more so than the Lakers are. I just need to see the Lakers a little bit more consistent as far as like winning and covering games. But from a total perspective, I would actually look towards the under. This season the Lakers, I looked at how they do at home against teams with a winning record, especially if they're rested. 6-0 to the under. I know both teams typically play a faster pace, but if you look at recent games, the Mavs have slowed it down a little bit. Also, even if with the Lakers playing a faster pace, these totals that are pretty high, 240 or greater, they're 3-0 to the under, and that's in those spots as well. So I would lean towards the Mavs. I would lean towards the under, but yeah, not a game I'll be betting on today.
All right. And Vino, what are you thinking here? It's a new lineup, like Skee said, for the Lakers. I don't know what the hell that's going to do. But what are you thinking here with Dallas and Kyrie and company here? You think they got a shot at pulling out the upset here on the road?
It's an old lineup just disguised as the new lineup, right? I mean, let's go back to what we started the season with, and Darvin Ham says they've been his 5 most consistent guys, so they're the guys that are going to get the starting assignments here. Dallas has beaten them twice already, close games, by 2, by 3, 1 in each place. The game in LA, I think, was around Thanksgiving or a little before Thanksgiving, and Dallas actually had a 20-point lead here without Kyrie in that particular game, I think, or maybe both were in that game. Kyrie was out the second game. So they match up really well. They play tight games. The Lakers, to their credit, there's been a lot of losses over the recent 10 or 11 game span, but they played some pretty good teams in that mix. Dallas just has too much offense for me, Joe, to shy away from them in this particular contest. And if Luka goes, you're probably better off to bet it now, because if Luka goes, we're not going to see this price, right? Probably drops down a little more, even if you like the Dallas side. Total, I do think you have to probably play over in this instance, because again, Dallas, all offense, not a lot on the defensive side. I have mentioned before that when Derek Lively is in, they're a better defensive team. The problem for him here is that LA matches up pretty well with him in the middle. So I would think Dallas probably the right side, 3rd time in a row, although some might try the other side of the fence and say it's a double revenge spot for the Lakers. I'm just not so sure it works here the way they're going lately. So I would try Dallas and potentially over.
All right. Potential over there, too, as well. Intriguing matchup out there. Definitely worth keeping an eye on what the availability is there with the injury reports. 8:30 Eastern time tip there with the Lakers and Dallas. And before we get and talk a little overtime here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Become part of the WagerTalk TV family. And, of course, those of you joining us live here on this Wednesday, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button? You guys know the routine. We certainly do appreciate the support here, as we've got so much going on this week, not only in the NBA, but college hoops, NFL, a lot happening here, and we have got you covered, including with a total here tonight. How about it? An overtime game in which we have seen, well, the total rise, interestingly enough, 218, 217 and a half this morning, but the money is coming in on the over with the Knicks taking on the Rockets, which is interesting because I thought for sure we were looking more defense-oriented here with the Knicks, but the market doesn't think so in this one, Skee. Are you in agreement here? Is it an over or pass spot for you in this one?
Negative. The Knicks have been anything but an over team since they made the trade. And they've only gone over, I think, 1 game. So I would think their trend of playing great defense and slower pace will continue in this one. They are the number 2 defensive rated team the last 5 games. And the Rockets, I mean, both teams aren't very good offensively. Rockets 24th, Knicks 19th. So if they're playing slow pace, we're trusting that defense for the Knicks. The Rockets defense should get better too, because they do get Dylan Brooks back in the lineup. I would only look towards an under in this game.
Yeah, it seemed a little strange there, without a doubt, RC, when all of a sudden start seeing this thing creeping up throughout the
Hmm.
day. It's like, wait a minute, I thought we were, aren't this supposed to be defense here now? But was the number just far too low here? How did you see this game?
Yeah, I think they've been moving over just because of how the Rockets have been playing lately. I think they've been giving up a lot of points. They've been more of an over team, but the Knicks here on this side, especially after the OG trade, 7-1 to the under, I could see them more of a defensive minded team. They're also, I think the Rockets here being on the, I think sixth game on the road now, especially on the Eastern Conference, that I could see some fatigue happening on their side of the ball. They face two of the top teams in the East too, Celtics and Sixers. I just feel like there's going to be some fatigue that sets in on this Rockets team. I know the Knicks are on, I believe, the first leg of back-to-back games, right? So they're probably going to manage some minutes, especially we don't know if Brunson's going to be in or not. Um, and I think so. I was looking at it from a league-wide perspective. Home favorites on the first leg of back-to-back games when their opponent has a win percentage under 400. So they're not. It's a first leg of back-to-back, but not really looking ahead because their next opponent isn't a top-tier level opponent. 11-5 to the under. I think, like I said, I think on these first leg of back-to-back games, these better teams tend to manage their minutes a little bit better, slow down the pace, and conserve some energy. Um, and then obviously their current opponent is probably on the road or whatever, especially like I said, home favorite situation. So to me, I'm just looking towards the under in this one. I feel like the Knicks defense and their pace probably keeps this one lower.
All right. Well, this is right up your alley here, Vino. We've got some guys thinking that maybe under is the way to go, which leaves you the opportunity to look at the over here and agree with the market. Are you with these guys, or do you think that over in the market, they're on to something here?
Well, I think the market moved, Joe, simply because people expect Jalen Brunson to come back and play tonight. We know how that goes with these injuries.
Mm.
Think you got an injury situation, go ahead and push the line, right? But yeah, I can disagree a little bit with what both these guys are saying. I mean, Houston defensively, they've been a sieve lately. And when Dylan Brooks came back 2 days ago, that was supposed to make things better. You know what it did? They played Boston with Dylan Brooks back. They gave up 145. And they came back, they played Philadelphia. They gave up 124, 269 points, 135 per in 2 games with Dylan Brooks back. So Udoka's lost a little bit of the defensive magic with this team so far. And as far as offense is concerned, trace Houston back. 17 games, their last 17 games, 15 times they've scored 112 or more. That's certainly enough to get you over 121 if the Knicks are going to win the game, right? So I don't know. I look at the Knicks, and the Knicks have scored 114 in 17 of their last 22. Both of the Knicks haven't scored the last couple of games because they didn't have Brunson. Tom Thibodeau had a little bit to say about that. He's like, we got plenty to win here. Let's not worry about Brunson. When he's ready to come back, he'll come back. He practiced before both of the games, went through a shoot around before both of the games that they played recently. They just scratched him right at game time. So we'll see what happens at game time here. But I got to say, the only thing that would push you toward under here is Knicks defense with Anunoby. That's about the only thing. But still, ever since OG came over, if Brunson's in the lineup, they score plenty of points. I'd go with the line move here, Joe. I'd look over 221.
All right, there it is. Up and away here. Knicks at home tonight against those Rockets. 221 holding firm right now. All right, so we've got a total. We got a featured matchup, which everyone seems to hate the Lakers, but that's a whole different story for another day. But we also had the contrarian God speak. Now it is time to focus on the dogs, and let's see if there's one that might be barking here tonight, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, let's check them out here as everyone's favorite team to fade, the Pistons, along with the Cavs as a dog here tonight. Hornets, we talked about. Raptors, those Rockets. How about those Orlando Magic or the Blazers? including the Spurs and the Mavericks here tonight. Spurs getting over 2 touchdowns. Wow. So there are some interesting numbers here on the board for dog Skee. Is there one that sticks out to you here, maybe that you would consider?
Yeah, well, I hate to be repetitive, but this is a show where I'm gonna have to be repetitive, and I'll go with the Hornets. Go with the Hornets plus 12, and I'll give you guys a little bit of free game right here. I've been doing pretty well on picking some of these ugly dogs, and a lot of it is not always just why to bet on this team. Some of it obviously is going to be why to bet on this team, but a lot of it is why to bet against the other team. And I just truly believe the Pelicans do not care about this game. You look at their schedule. I'll list them out. I said it before, but I'll list it out. They play the Suns, the Jazz, the Thunder, the Bucks, the Celtics. You tell me they really care about coming out here and performing against the Hornets, who have been getting beat up by everybody? I just don't believe it. They're at the rest disadvantage as well, and it's a big deal and big difference when you're coming home off a long road trip and you have minimal rest. So I just don't think the Pelicans really care to win this game by double digits. So Hornets are the dog to play for today.
Oh, I love it. Spot on, man. Just as important to know why you shouldn't play a team as opposed to why you should here. Hornets for Skee's dog here tonight. RC, how about you? There's got to be one barking loud here tonight. Which one is it?
Yeah, I think that the Cavs might be live dogs to actually win outright potentially. I think the Bucks they failed to cover in 7 of their last 8 games. Even in their last game, they won and couldn't even cover the 4 points. If we look at recent form, the Bucks are 24th in the league in defensive rating. The Cavs are second, just behind the Knicks there. And in road conference games against teams with a winning record, the Bucks are allowing 123.1 points per game. The last time these two teams faced, the Cavs scored 111 points, but they shot 6 for 43 from the 3, and I just feel like that's not going to happen again here in this spot. So for me, I think the Cavs get a little bit of revenge here, and the +4 might be the way to look here.
All right. Don't hate that at all there. What are you thinking there, Rob Vino? Dogs all over the map here. Nothing, no real pick'ems on this board here. Interesting tonight. So which one are you leaning towards here?
And Skee already took the 12, right? So I can't go high. I can't go low. I got to go somewhere in the middle here. I like Orlando, Joe. Orlando plus the points against the Hawks. I mean, again, the Hawks laying points 1-9 against the spread as a home favorite. Who wants that team covered 10% of the time? Played Orlando twice this season. Once 10 days ago, Orlando beats them straight up 117-110 with somewhat of a patchwork lineup. Go back to November, they play a 120-119 game against Atlanta here where they do cover. Talked about the patchwork lineup that they had 10 days ago, but that lineup has gotten healthy in a hurry. They've gotten 4 guys back within like the last 10 days. Joe Ingles back, and big guys, Wendell Carter and Jonathan Isaac. And when I think of the Magic all the time, I think of their front line and their front line depth, and that being the strength of this team. And now they're back to where they started the season. Big guys are in the lineup. You do miss Franz Wagner. Obviously, he's been out for a few games now. But still, any team that's going to hit the boards hard, any team that's going to play tough on the interior, you kind of like them against Atlanta, who, resembles a team that's kind of soft in jump shooting. So for me, Orlando looks like the way to go here. Again, it's a bad home team, bad home favorite. Orlando's not the best road dog, 9-9. They're an underdog a lot. 9-9 against the spread isn't terrible. The Hawks offense has disappeared, would be my last point here. Scored 108, 99, and 109 in their last 3 games. They're low numbers, but what makes it worse is it's against Indiana, Washington, and San Antonio. I don't have it in front of me, but they're probably going to be 3 of the 5 worst defenses in the NBA, and you can't get to 110 against any of them, so something's up offensively with the Hawks. I like Orlando +4.
All right. Take them points with the Magic here tonight as a dog, maybe a little sprinkle on the money line as well. So there you got it. We got some dogs out of the way. Now it is time to talk some best bets here from these guys. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up. Those of you joining us live on the broadcast, if you're new here, watching us on replay, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, become part of the Wager Talk TV family. Nobody has got more daily and weekly content on all the big games than we do. Check it out, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Some great stuff for all of the big games coming up this week. All right, Skee, coming back to you. I think we are going to feature a new segment on the show moving forward where, no, he's already swapped it up. Never mind that. I'm throwing 60 seconds on the clock. Go ahead, man. Tell us where you're going for a best bet or a hell no, whatever it is you're coming up with. Let's hear it.
Well, I do want to go back to that overtime segment game, and I just want to talk a little bit more about it. The Houston and New York game. The full game, the best number you can get right now is 221. I don't think I mentioned this, but you have the Knicks who could be potentially without Jalen Brunson, and that's going to hurt their offense. You saw how they looked in that last game. They barely cracked 100 points. Without Brunson, they're trusting Julius Randle a lot, and I just don't think that's good for your offense. They still will be able and capable of playing that top-notch defense that they've been playing, whether Brunson plays or not. So I think, if he's out, that's a bonus. And as far as the Rockets, just to counter what Rob was saying, that Celtics game was a back-to-back, so they were tired. And the next game after that was third game in 4 nights. And I would argue that the Houston Rockets, I would argue that the Knicks offense is not as good as the Sixers or the Celtics. So I think both teams can do good on the defensive end tonight and keep it under 221.
All right. I like it. All right. Doubling down. Get her done here. I love it when we go against the market moves there. RC, let's go, man. You are up. Ball is in your hands. 60 seconds. Where are you going for a best bet here tonight?
Yeah, I like what Skee said. I'm going back to that game as well, but more so on one side, the team total under for the Rockets here. I know since the OG trade, the Knicks opponents are averaging just over 100 points per game. They're 7-1 to their team total under. The opponents are, and in those 8 games, the Knicks have allowed over 106 points just once. And I know this is a tough travel spot for the Rockets here, and I looked at it from a league-wide perspective since 2020. Road dogs on the last of a 6-game road trip. 22-11 to their team total under. That points towards the Rockets really, to me, starting to struggle with the fatigue to set in, especially after facing the Celtics and the Sixers. If we look at the last 10 games, Rockets 19th in the league in offensive rating, Knicks first in defensive rating, 22nd in pace. I like what Skee said about, with or without Brunson. I think they're going to continue to focus on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's just the culture there on the Knicks side, and have a slow pace. So I like the Rockets to stay under their team total 107.5.
Ooh, love it. Hell of a way to tackle it. Under the 107.5 team total. That leaves us, of course, Mr. Rob Vino. Ready to roll. 60 seconds on the clock. Which one of these games stuck out to you the most here?
Are we going to make history here or what, Joe? I'm going to go into the same game with a third different look at it. And ironically, all three could win. I mean, it's possible. I have the Knicks team total over 113.5 here. The Rockets defense has been an absolute sieve for quite a while now. And, just to counterpoint Skee, Rockets might have been tired on back-to-back. Was Dillon Brooks tired defensively after having about a month off? Probably not. I could get offensively, maybe he was rusty, but defensively, he's there to run around and stop teams from scoring. He hasn't done it in either of the first 2 games. Knicks, again, guys, they're 17-5 over this team total of 113.5 in the last 22 games. Potentially, if Jalen Brunson doesn't play, it could affect their offense. Potentially, if Jalen Brunson does play, it helps their offense. So one of those 2 arguments is going to get crushed. But I think that the Knicks here against this defense, which has been road fatigued, which has been lousy for a long, long time now, probably gets lousy again, over 113.5 team total Knicks.
Ooh, we got an under team total. We got an over team total. We got oh, hell no, I ain't going over here. So we got a lot going on here for this game here tonight. Bottom line, we got a lot on the table here in the NBA. And let us not forget, we also have many more best bets available for tonight here over at WagerTalk.com by visiting RC, Ronald Kabang, as well as Ski Profit and Rob Vino. But to recap it one more time for you, It's the Knick game tonight. So glad we could do it in MSG pregame here for the New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets. Team total under for the Houston Rockets for RC. How about the under in the game there for Skee? While Rob Vino thinks the Knicks can certainly get over that 113.5 as a team total. So a lot of different ways to approach this game and the entire card. But maybe the best way is just visit these guys over at WagerTalk.com and grab those best bets for the night because there are plenty to choose from. And that'll do it here. Of course, we'll be back again tomorrow, another slate of NBA action. But we're not done yet with the content and the big matchups and the games. In fact, if you go ahead, click on that video on your screen right now, you'll get access to all of the big-time matchups and many other games happening, not just tonight, but all week long. So go ahead, click on that video, and come back and join us again tomorrow. Good luck. We'll talk to you again soon.